My father always told me, at some point in your life, every human has to be alone and understand and grow as a person in solitude. From the time that we're born, um, as far as I can remember, at least, I just remember being my mom and dad. Some people have siblings, some people have their grandparents. Um, if you're blessed, unless foster care, if you're watching this, and you have your foster family, but you have some type of family that you can always remember is that the people that you love. And after a while, you grow. Then you go to school, you know, meet people, meet friends. These people teach you valuable life lessons, and um, you kind of just become like overall a better person, a better version of yourself, because at the end of the day, life is about experience. So you're experiencing life through these other beings as well as experiencing life. And you go along life and you meet people that you align with at the time. You align with these people, y'all having fun together, you're growing because you're a kid. And you align with these people for a very long time, if that's, you know, what the universe allows for you to grow. And you get to a point where you start to question those friends, start to question yourself, because the alignment might not be the same anymore. Energy does tend to change, in life, or you change, you evolve. And I know for me, right, get to a point, sometimes you outgrow people that you love, what I'm saying, or people that you come up with. I know, like myself, right, I've always been a elaborate thinker. So you can ask anybody that know me from a long time ago. I've always been me. I've always been different with the thinking. I've always tried to give people game. I've always tried to, just expand my mind. Like, you still to this day, like, most people don't read. Most people don't expand their mind to know all type of information. I try to indulge in everything. Um, and, I always was like, man, I want to change the world. I want to put everybody on the same type of information that I know. But then I had to realize, like, everybody's not gonna think like you. Everybody's not open-minded. It's not their lifetime to experience what you're experiencing. They might have to come back and experience this. What do you mean by that? That's a whole different topic. We're not even gonna go too deep into that. But my thing is, like, yeah, everybody's not ready. Later in life they might be ready. And you might try to talk to your friends that you've been with for years, decades, possibly. Sometimes you might be with these friends for a minimal time, but I know me, my friends, I've been with most of them decade, at least a decade almost. I might try to put them on, try to give them a game, but got to a point they didn't really care. Like, they don't care. They still want to do what the average person is doing. So me, I had to realize that you gotta let them be them, and you gotta be you to prosper in what you want to do. Of course, you might have certain friends that do have that open ear out, that want to listen and want to grow with you. But for the most part, most people aren't gonna be, deep, because if everybody was to be on a high level of thinking, a high level of just living, everybody would vibe in that same high level. There wouldn't be people that's on a lower class. It wouldn't be a hierarchy in society if everybody was, on the same higher end of the spectrum. And I know me, right? Sometimes you do gotta outgrow people as well, and sometimes you gotta leave around the people that you love, the people that you care for, because it'll do both of y'all favors. Like, sometimes, you might get into it with these same people. Like, I know for me, right, I don't really get into it with people. Like, I've always been pretty respected and people pretty much agree with me, but at the same time, who's thinking on your same wavelength. And even as I gotten older, I distanced myself. The people that I align myself with now, because I'm in college now, what I'm saying, they cool guys as well, what I'm saying, but it's still always going to be a disconnect in thinking, because everybody's their own being, and everybody not on the same wavelength of thinking at all. And to grow, you have to distance yourself. To grow, you have to, do your own thing, because everybody don't have the same value. Everybody don't have the same goals. Like I remember, shout out to a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say his name on here, but a good friend of mine name. I'm just gonna call him Curtis. Curtis was always different. When I first met Curtis, me and him didn't vibe on the same frequency, but he was on a frequency where that I could understand and relate to him. Like Curtis always was different. He wasn't on the same type of timing. Now, granted, the matrix, as I call it, the world, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the earth, is gonna cloud your mind with judgment. It's gonna make you think that you're missing out. It's gonna make you think that you should be doing what everybody else doing. So he'll have times that he wish he was doing other stuff. He wish he could enjoy and indulge in what's going on the outside. But Curtis, for the most part, I say stayed very goal driven and a very strong. Like I recently talked to him like 2 weeks ago, and he was telling me how, you know, he deleted his Instagram and he created a new one. And I was like, I thought he really just deactivated. He was like, nah, because it's just lustful girls on there that I was lusting over, and people that have no value in my life. Everybody that's on my new Instagram, people that I value, that I want to keep around. I'm like, damn, that's crazy, because I never think I could do something like that. Of course, I'm not trying to do that. I have a following that I'm trying to build, and he understands me, where I'm coming from. But he was just like, man, he's like, you're going to be my famous friend, right? That's what he told me. That's our last conversations like 2 weeks ago. We didn't talk for months. He was checking in with me. And, like, he was just always different. Like, he told me, like, he was like, man, see, we had a conversation. I remember it was like a year ago. He's like, man, you and me, you can't afford to be like everybody else. He's like, you got big dreams. You got dreams that you want to be the best. Content rise. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. He like, so you can't be doing everybody else doing. You can't be doing all this party. You can't be doing all this. Me, I'm trying to be the best in my field. So I can't be indulging all this. I have a partner. I can't be, out here just trying to F off. And, that stick out to me right now, because I don't know. I think about it. I think about it to this day, and I kind of like fall into a trap of just going out, like not posting. Like I said, if you go down my channel, I ain't posting 9 months, man. I didn't grind as hard as I should have been grinding, and it just tapped in. It really just clicked to me that, like, man, I gotta attack the day. But people like that, you need to keep around. Sometimes, like, I seen something, you might fall out with certain people, right? So, for me, right, it's never happened to me, because I feel like I just give out such a high energy in my life. Maybe one time I had a story, where someone that I thought looked at as a friend disappointed me in a way of, it was just like, dang, I've always supported you, I always did my best for you, but this same person, when I was in help or in need, this same person, turned the shoulder on me, and I've always, helped this man, rides, food, clothes, shoot, whatever. And the same person, cold shoulder. And granted, we end up still like being cool out there, cause what I'm saying, it ain't nothing. But like, it just shows you what people's head is. It shows who's really there, or who really values you as a high person. This person probably do value me in a certain way, but at the same time, what I'm saying, I don't even talk to this man for real. And it just show you who's really on your team. So sometimes you gotta leave people behind, And I've even, like, shoot, one of my closest friends, like, in my lifetime, like, be doing crazy stuff. But one thing I respect about him, he wouldn't dare bring none of that around me. Or he'll tell me, like, he trying to change his ways. Or I even had another friend of mine, right, that we got into a physical altercation. Two times, actually. And we still cool now, man. But it's just like, of course, I want to talk to him. And I'm like, he gravitate, who gravitate with, and I gravitate to who I gravitate with. And, I'm still trying to find more people that's on my same level of thinking, because, I would love the growth in my life. But it's really just okay to be solo and alone, because in life you got to go through life alone. You got to keep pushing. And, one day, you're going to die alone. Everybody hate to talk about it, but because you were born alone, you're going to die alone. At the end of the day, everything that you see is just a physical. This ain't even real, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother talk, you know. You value these people in the physical the whole time. These people aren't even the people that you really think they are. I'm just leave it at that. But at the end of the day, I'm just say you really just need to choose the company that you keep around yourself wisely, and just be very intentional with everything that you do, and grow and elevate.